Alright, hey, so I'm going to try this again. My phone messed up last time as I was trying to use my phone, so now I'm going to use my computer, okay? Still a work day. Alright, I'll post the first video. I only got about 2 minutes of it uploaded. It's on Haiku. I'll put it on Haiku for you. Now I'm going to try to use the computer, which is touchscreen here, so I got to be careful while using that. I don't know how many other teachers in the school have touchscreen, but I do. So there's that. Now, I'm going to go back through. It's hard to see on the board, but I put all this on Haiku, okay? Let me see if I can zoom in. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, yeah, well, it does work, huh? All right. All right, I know it's kind of bright. I'll cut the lights off here. So, again, I spit my gum out already. All right, I don't know. Oh, you can't see me, okay? But this is the assignments, all right? It's on Haiku. The first assignment, as I was going over there, was it's on Nearpod, which you're familiar with, you know how to do, and it's self-paced, so you can do that. Now, when I go through this lecture, a lot of the questions on the lecture on Nearpod I will get to in the lecture, all right? So you'll be able to answer them from the lecture. Right, from the PowerPoint that I go over. So that's good. Okay, I got to figure out the lighting situation. This may take a little bit because I don't want it too dark, and then you can't see me. All right, I don't want it too bright either because I don't want the board to bright to block you out. Now, maybe that'll work better. Okay, so the second assignment is on Haiku. All right, it is the criminal and judicial criminal court procedures, judicial court procedures, all right? They're a little different, all right? I'll probably get to that lecture tomorrow in day 2 of the inaugural Mr. Robinson lecture series. So that's tomorrow, and then the questions are on Haiku under activities assessments. Now, a lot of the stuff we'll be going over today, you already gave that knowledge to you on Friday, all right? But we'll go back over it again, try to help you out with some of these questions that are on Nearpod. Now, remember, I know a lot of you probably aren't going to watch this, okay? But if half of you watch it, okay, that's good, all right? So because I mean that's what I'm here for. I'm a teacher, all right? There's no ring on this finger, as I said before, all right? If there was, it'd say teaching, because that's what I'm married to, teaching, all right? So we have that, all right? Now, this is all in Haiku. I emailed all of you this already, all right? I'll be sending out the videos here as soon as I'm done. Figure out the technology piece on that. Now I'm going to go over the PowerPoint slides and then the lecture, okay? So I know you're very excited about that. I know I would be. How are you? I mean, super excited. So, the lecture has all to do with the federal court system. All right, you learned most of this on Friday. All right, your last day of personal face-to-face instruction. But, you know, so this is the hand we're dealt, so this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, still working. The kinds of jurisdiction. Now, this is talking about federal courts, but the kinds of jurisdiction. Really, the main two you need to know are original and appellate. So, jurisdiction, that's just the definition of jurisdiction, the ability to hear and decide a case. Alright, notice I'm not chewing gum. Alright, so, hey, I'm teaching civics, okay? So, the ability to hear and decide a case, that's jurisdiction. Now, original jurisdiction is going to be the ability to hear and decide a case the first time. Original, okay? One of my students says I'm an original alpha male. Okay, that's what he referred to himself as. All right, he said I'm original. I'm the first to ever do it. Well, that's what on original jurisdiction is the first time. All right. Now, appellate is the next one you need to know. All right, appellate a little different. Certainly a lot different actually. To hear and decide a case that has already been heard but is being appealed to a higher court. Okay? So I'll get into, now I've already did this lecture once, my phone cut off, whatever, I had some technical issues, I'm gonna do it again, alright, not sure that it's gonna be better the second time, but maybe it will be. Alright, but it's an appellate jurisdiction, alright, to hear and decide a case from a lower court, now it's on a higher court, alright. Concurrent, now I don't want to confuse you all with this, concurrent is because you have the state courts and federal courts, alright, today we're only studying federal, alright, but concurrent is states or federal courts can hear the case. Alright, and don't worry about that as much right now, because we're not getting into state courts yet. Most trials are in state courts. Alright, but now there are some specific ones that are federal courts. So, federal jurisdiction, what we're looking at today. Now all this I went over on Friday, but guess what? I'm going to do it again. You're welcome. Cases involving the Constitution, okay? You're talking about the federal government, supreme. Federal government is supreme over the state government. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. In here, in this classroom, I am the Constitution or the federal government, okay? I'm supreme in the classroom amongst you all. Okay, maybe you try to go to this when we went over the Constitution. You all are like the states, okay? And I'm the federal government, okay? The supremacy clause from the Constitution, that's what it says, all right? It's supreme. That the Constitution, the federal government is supreme. So involving the Constitution, involving federal law, okay? Disputes between the states, so typically this has to do with boundaries. Alright, this was a big issue in the founding of our nation, with boundaries. That some states would claim an area that another state would claim, and then would, they would have to look at through a federal scope, alright, federal lens. Right, they were the ones that would have to decide it. And then citizens from different states, alright. Remember, particularly if maybe a crime is committed in North Carolina and then a person flees and goes to Tennessee, okay, and then you get the FBI or Federal Bureau of Investigation involved with that, or federal jurisdiction in the courts. So there's 4 of them, okay, involving the federal government and federal cases, foreign governments and treaties, right? There's another one. Now you also have diplomats with that. I'll get to that here in a second. All right, before I get to that, I'm going to get to cases involving maritime law or sea law, okay? Because the ocean doesn't belong to a particular state, all right? So the federal government is the one overseeing those cases. And then you have diplomats, all right? That's kind of the last one. So, with that, you should all know that, because I went over it on Friday. All right, I'll get to the hierarchy. All right, at the bottom here, you have district courts. Now, I'm going to get to this in a second. District courts is where all cases start. It's at the bottom, okay? Then you have appellate. So, if appellate courts or appellate jurisdiction, I'll get to that. But if the courts, someone tries to appeal their decision, they'll go to the appellate court. And then, the final one, okay, I'll get to this too, alright, Supreme Court. Alright, now it's really hard to get a case to the Supreme Court. I'll explain some factors in that here in a little bit. But in other words, if I get a speeding ticket out in town here, okay, which I haven't, right? But if I do, it's not going to the Supreme Court right off the bat. Okay, so we go start in district, go to appellate. All right, but that would be a state law, which is something different. But I mean, just giving an example, it doesn't start. Cases don't start in the Supreme Court. Okay, they go to district, appellate, and then Supreme. So start it from the bottom. Start from the bottom. Now I'm here. Once they get here, it's a big deal. All right, not unlike your teacher. Kind of a big deal. So I'll go explain each of these levels here in the video, and maybe try to help you understand each one and give you a little knowledge on it. Okay, how's that sound? All right, U.S. District Court. This is where it starts. Okay, where lawsuits are heard, and it's trial court. Okay, so the trials involved with all all the players, meaning the attorneys, the defendant, the jury, all of that. This is where, you need to know this, when right at the camera, okay, you need to know this, this is where all federal cases must begin, in district courts. Okay, original jurisdiction. Okay, the only place an actual trial will take place. Okay, a trial is what you kind of think of when you think of the court system, meaning you have a defense attorney, a prosecuting attorney, a jury, a defendant, all of that. Well, that's here. All the players, okay? All the players are involved at district court. All right, guilt, we know what that is, or acquittal, meaning found innocent of charges. All right, they decide that there. It's original level. Now, if a person does not like their decision or the verdict that is reached, in other words, if they are found guilty, they can appeal it. So we're going to look at the appeals court. Right? This is the second level now. All right, we're going to look at that. I'm going to try to explain that to you. So the job of the appeals court is they're going to look at that district court level, okay, and with the original jurisdiction at the district court level, and decide if the verdict or what was reached was proper. To decide if it was right. Or as it says on here, they review the lower district court's decision to see if the law has been upheld. All right. Now, the difference here you're going to see that I'm going to explain to you in the district court versus the appeals court is at the appeals level, only the prosecution and defense. Okay. There's also no jury. All right. So when you guys think of courtroom drama and courtroom stuff, they probably have these drama TV shows and stuff. You would think that district court level, where everybody's involved. Here, Court of Appeals, only the prosecution and defense attorneys appear in appellate court. Okay, and there's no jury. All right, so it's different. Second difference, which I just mentioned, is it's a panel of judges, 3 or more. Okay, typically 3 of them. Now, that question is right on the Nearpod activity I'm going to have you do tomorrow. Okay, but I'm giving you this lecture today to try to help you out with it. I got the clicker out too. Okay, boom. So it's all go. Right? Hey, I put premium gas in my car this morning. Okay, now you're getting some premium instruction. 3 or more judges, a panel of judges that decide at appeals court whether the law has been upheld. Now, the judges are the subject matter experts here, okay? So they know the law, subject matter expert, which is basically what I am here with Civics, okay? I'm a subject matter expert for you guys. They decide if the law has been upheld from that decision from the district court. Now, you have 12 appeals circuits, okay? Keep this in mind. I went over this Friday. Does anybody remember what circuit North Carolina's in? Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, well, I know. It's the 4th. Okay, the 4th appeal circuit. Now, with that, these judges can only hear the appeals from their circuit. In other words, if it's in North Carolina, okay, then the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th cannot hear it, all right, because we're in the 4th circuit. So, at the federal level, these judges on the appeals court can only hear the cases that are being appealed from their circuit, all right? If you know that. There's a 13th one that has nationwide jurisdiction, right? Not used as much, but there's that. Okay? This is important to understand. The decisions of the appeals court. Alright? Now, basically, there are three decisions here that I'm going to get to. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see. Don't worry, I'll put these slides on haiku. All right, you can listen to me talk. All right, I know I would be if I were you guys. Get some premium instruction here. So the first one, they can uphold the case. All right. So basically, the ruling will stay the same. They'll say, all right, the district court, lower court made a correct ruling. We're going to uphold that ruling. The second one, all right, they can remand the case or send it back to the lower court. All right. So basically, return it back to the lower court for a new trial. All right. That is the second one they can do. Now, the third one, you probably guessed it, is boom, they can overturn it. All right. They say, no, it was no good. Then the person goes free now. All right. That's the third decision. So sometimes I tell anecdotes here for you guys. A few years ago, I gave my buddies, when I was in the Marine Corps, I gave them a gift for Christmas. Okay. And I don't expect any gifts from me, guys. All right. Although I'm giving you the gift of knowledge here every day. All right. But, so I gave him a gift. All right. I could tell he didn't really like the gift when I gave it to him. All right. Well, he didn't tell me, but I could tell he didn't like it. So I said, hey, why don't you just take it back to the store? I got the receipt here, take it back. Okay, that would be remand. Right, take it back. Okay. Or you could have kept it. All right, maybe you didn't like it, but you could have kept it, which would be uphold the gift or the decision. Well, what did he do? The gift I gave him, he threw it away. So he reversed it. He overturned it. Threw it away. All right, maybe that will help you understand. Kind of three decisions there. When you get a gift, you can hold on to it. You can take it back to the store. You throw it away. I don't recommend throwing it away. But that's the same decisions in a sense. Okay, I'm not saying draw a direct line to these rulings by the appeals court, but that's what they can do. They can uphold it, they can remand it, or return it to the lower court, or they can reverse it. Right? So, and you know this too, right? When they announce a decision, all right, they have to write an explanation. They have to say why they chose what they chose. So you have majority opinion, which is what the majority of the judges think. All right, so it's the winner, so basically the decision they made. All right, and you have a dissenting opinion, what a minority or a smaller percentage of the judges think. Okay, and so they will write this. All right, make an explanation of it. Now, when we study some famous Supreme Court cases, because they do the same thing in the Supreme Court, you have a majority opinion, dissenting opinion, particularly think about, well, I'll get to it, I'll explain it. There was a case, Plessy versus Ferguson, and then the Dred Scott versus Stanford case, which are kind of black marks on our court system and the Supreme Court in general. But there were bad decisions, and so often when we study law, or lawyers study it, they look at the dissenting opinion, okay, which means the opinion that lost, but in actuality it was the correct opinion. So I'm not trying to confuse you guys too much. All right, but they have to write it. Right? They have to write their basis for their decision. So precedent. Precedent is essentially using a prior case or a prior ruling to make the legal decision. So I'll relate when buying someone a gift. Okay, I bought my brother last year a polo shirt. Okay, I didn't buy him a workday shirt, I bought him a polo shirt, and this not last year, but the year before, I bought him one for Christmas. And he really liked the shirt. Okay, so what did I do again this year? All right, I'm like, well, I use precedent that says, hey, he liked it before, I'll buy him one again. I bought him one again. Okay, he liked it. All right, so that's what the judges do. They use a prior case or prior decision, previous decision, to make their ruling. Now, all federal judges at appeal level, okay, at any level, all right, are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. All right. So you should know this from the Supreme Court, which we studied when we studied the Constitution. Okay, remember that from those checks and balances, Montesquieu's checks and balances. All right, the president appoints the judges, the Senate confirms them. So you have one branch, the executive branch, appointing another branch, the judicial branch, but they have to be confirmed by the third branch, all right, or the upper house of the third branch, the Senate, legislative branch. All right, so that is for all federal judges. And it's a lifetime job, all right? So, much like my job here teaching, okay, I'm married to it, all right? I'm in the game for life, all right? That's what they are, these federal judges, all right? It's a lifetime job, okay? Now, with the Supreme Court, the last one, the last level, all right, you have the highest court in the land, Supreme, okay? So it's the top dogs here. There are 9 Supreme Court judges, okay? Well, boom, 9, all right? 8 associate, and then you have 1 chief, all right? So you have someone who's at the head, and that's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I told you this on Friday. I'll just ask you again. If anybody remembers, who is the only man to be President of the United States and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court? I'll wait. All right, William Howard Taft, okay, number 27, 27th President of the United States. He later became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. All right, now, is that you're going to be tested on that? No, you're not. Okay, maybe it's just another tool for your toolbox. But I'm telling you now, most presidents are lawyers. Okay, well, why are they lawyers? Because being a lawyer, you have to know the Constitution. All right, because it's the supreme law of the land. As the president, you are the chief executive of our country. All right, so it is somewhat important that they know the Constitution at the very least, and most lawyers, well, they know it pretty well. So there you have the highest court in the land, Supreme Court, 8 associate justices, 1 chief justice. There are 9 of them in total. Now that's going to be a question on Nearpod you need to answer. All right. The same way, they're appointed by the president, confirmed by the Senate, just as all federal judges are. All right, life terms. And this is important because this one's on their part as well. They decide which cases they want to hear. So whichever case the Supreme Court wants to hear, then they choose it. They basically pick their cases. So that you need to know that, okay? So they're not going to pick some low-level case, all right? Because remember, the Supreme Court's job is to look at the Constitution and then interpret that Constitution and then make their ruling. All right? They're the branch that interprets the law. And the Constitution being the supreme law, that's what they do. All right? So they basically look at the constitutionality of a case and they make the ruling. All right? Most cases, like I said, don't get to the Supreme Court. All right? One, because they pick their cases, and there are only 9 judges in total. Because you can't get every case up there. All right? Within the year. All right, so that will conclude day 1 of Mr. Robinson's 2020 Civics and Economics lecture series. Hopefully this video works and it loads. Now, if you have any questions, I'm going to email this link out to all of you. Okay, I'm going to put it on haiku for you to see as well. If you have any questions about anything that I covered, all right, anything we're going over in class, life in general, all right, you know that. So you got to throw the workday shirt on. Okay, so I'm here to help you guys. All right, now stay tuned for more lectures and And hey, maybe we get some quality learning in.